Hey, how's it going, guys? In today's video, we're going to be checking out a former commune and tourist site in the Santa Cruz Mountains called Holy City. Holy City is located just off of Highway 17 on the old Santa Cruz Highway. And as you might be able to tell from the name, the old Santa Cruz Highway was the main route between San Jose and Santa Cruz before Highway 17 was constructed in 1940. To have a better understanding of the creation and existence of Holy City, it would be beneficial to go over its creator, William Riker. It's hard to put a label on William Riker, but to summarize, he was a religious leader, a promoter, an entrepreneur, and an aspiring politician. Born in 1873, he was raised in Oakdale, California. William became head of the household at age 17 when his father passed away. After his mother remarried 2 years later, he left for San Francisco for more opportunities. While working various jobs, it was here that Riker developed a love for spiritualism. At this point in time, he was regularly preaching on street corners, as well conducting palm and mind readings. In this photo, Riker is pictured in the outfit that he would wear during his divine services. After gaining a following of 12 disciples, he established a headquarters on Hayes Street in San Francisco, where they would conduct their operations. 4 years later, after saving up a substantial amount of money, Riker purchased 30 acres of vacant land just south of Los Gatos. This would be the birth of Holy City. Riker is definitely a polarizing character due to his racist and extremist views. He infamously shared letters with Hitler and even publicly declared that the US should form a truce with Nazi Germany and the Axis powers. On the flip side, however, he was known to have done some philanthropic deeds, such as feeding thousands of hungry individuals during the Great Depression. Regardless, his legacy is undoubtedly cemented in the creation of Holy City, a memorable roadside attraction that anyone traveling between San Jose and Santa Cruz between 1920 and the mid-1960s likely stopped at. Construction of Holy City began in late 1919 and early 1920 using materials left over from the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. The first buildings constructed in Holy City were a 2-story house for Riker and his wife, and multiple shacks for his disciples to live in. The contrast between the dwelling of Riker and those of his followers really highlights the dynamic between the two. From what I've read, it seems like Riker used his disciples as laborers and viewed them as tools in his quest for power. On the inside, Holy City was a religious cult with all aspects of daily life tightly controlled by Riker, also known as the Emancipator, Father, and the Comforter by his followers. However, on the outside, it was a bustling roadside attraction with a long list of businesses. The heyday of Holy City was in the 20s when it sat along the Santa Cruz Highway. As I mentioned earlier in the video, everybody driving between San Jose and Santa Cruz drove straight through Holy City. This, combined with the post-World War I economic boom, led to thriving business in Holy City. And what's interesting about Holy City is not only was it operating roadside conveniences, but it also had a large number of standalone businesses that were quite successful. This included, but was not limited to, a zoo, an observatory, a printing shop, a radio station, and even a soda works. And it's even rumored that the recipe for Hawaiian punch was actually created in Holy City and was later sold. From these photos, you can see all of the different businesses that were occupied on this slight bend in the road on the old Santa Cruz Highway. Regarding Riker, as ruler of this religious community, who had his disciples turn in all of their worldly possessions to him, didn't allow them to drink, and even didn't allow couples to live in the same house, was personally living a life of great excess, bringing well in over $100,000 annually in income, as well prioritizing novelties such as an airstrip. This once again highlights the economic and social disparity between Riker and his devout followers. During World War II, a national gas rationing effort went into play, greatly hurting Holy City's primary business of being a convenience stop and a gas station. This, combined with the creation of Highway 17 in 1940, which bypassed Holy City, was the beginning of the end for this community. Loss of foot traffic led to loss of business, which led to loss of followers, which led Riker to have far fewer options as time went on. By 1960, a combination of bad business decisions and arson led to the town essentially being defunct. With Holy City effectively a ghost town, Riker passed away 9 years later in 1969 at St. Agnew's Hospital. Surprisingly, he still had 3 disciples left when he passed. The postcard you see here is the only image of Holy City that I could find with the entire site. We're going to use it to take a look at the status of each section. The section you see here encompassed the zoo, the observatory, and at least one dwelling of a disciple. The whole area is empty today except for a stone wall and I believe the remnants of the observatory sign, which you can see in some of the other photos. All of the buildings you see here are gone. The one in the middle is the old printing press, which burned down in 1959. This would be the location of the current building that's there today, that was most recently a glass shop, but is now closed. You can barely see it in this photo, but this is the location of Riker's original house, which sat atop a little knoll. Believe it or not, it still exists today, but it's been renovated and is currently overgrown by a lot of foliage, so you can barely see it from the street. And this little building here is the only remaining original structure that you can view from the street. It's now behind a fence by the same property owners that own the rest of Holy City, but you can view it still pretty easily. No one really seems to know what the structure is, but it seems like it may have been a dwelling or maybe some sort of maintenance utility shed. So next we're going to check out the town site and see what it looks like today. So here you can see the vacant commercial building on the right, where the row of businesses used to be, as well Riker's original home and the small original shed on the left as well. While I can't confirm, I'm almost certain that this is the original runway of the Holy City Airport. It lies just southwest of the town site. Approaching the town from the southwest, you can see the current commercial building that's now vacant. Buildings back in the day would have filled up most of this vacant land and would have lined the old Santa Cruz Highway through the straight part as well the curve that you can see here. On the right side of Holy City Road, you have Riker's original home, and on the left side you have the location where the gas station, observatory, and zoo would have been. The next few clips I have are from a point of view perspective, so you can see what you would be able to see if you were to drive through Holy City today. Where I'm standing here, I'd consider used to be the middle of town. However, as you can see, there's very little to convince you that this used to be a very busy town site. Walking up to the right side of this vacant commercial building, you can see a road that leads to a gate. I believe this road used to lead further into the compound into a rest area, which had a restaurant and bathrooms and that kind of thing. Next, I'm walking around the vacant commercial building that was the last business that was operated in Holy City. I believe it was an art glass shop that operated up until around 2015 or so. It's boarded up and there's some graffiti on it, but overall it's in pretty good shape. I could definitely see this building being something like a restaurant or bar or something like that. The location is just awesome. If anyone knows when this building was constructed or what any of the businesses were that operated here before the art glass building, it would be awesome if you could drop a comment down below. Even though this building isn't from the original Holy City itself, it's still pretty cool that there's a building where the main strip used to be. And now a quick video from the other side of the commercial building, panning westward. And in this next clip, you can see how Riker's original home can barely be seen through the brush here. And on the left here, where there used to be a gas station, zoo, and observatory, there's very little remnants remaining today. Moving over to the site of the gas station, you can see that it's virtually empty, except for the remnants of a stone wall here, which is speculated to have been set by Riker's original disciples. Moving up the embankment behind the stone wall, you can actually see an old concrete foundation, as well as some remnants of an old wooden sign. Once again, I can't confirm, but I believe both might be related to the original gas station or observatory. Next, I took a couple quick shots of walking down Holy City Road. And walking back to the end here is what I believe is the structure from that old postcard that I mentioned earlier in the video. And without being too intrusive, I just wanted to show you what it looks like as close as you can get today. It's not that glamorous, but I believe it's related to the original Holy City settlement, so that's pretty cool. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found it interesting. There were a lot of details that I had to leave out for the sake of time, but if you want to have a deeper dive on Holy City, I recommend reading the book Holy City, Riker's Roadside Attraction in the Santa Cruz Mountains by Betty Lewis. Thanks again, and please make sure to subscribe for more videos.